Hello and welcome to the White Rabbit YouTube channel. In today's live episode, we are discussing the previous episode, The Spear of Destiny. Plus, we will also talk about escaped Germans in Argentina, Chile, and other South American places. Um, Another one is that there is more than one spear of destiny. There are four possible spears of destiny, which all happened in different parts of Europe or the Middle East. And I had a request from a fan to talk about a very strange conspiracy that Australia is not real. Australia is fake. And I looked into it and I'll talk about that a little bit later. But first, I want to talk about the escaped Germans in Argentina. So I made a list of the three worst Germans that evaded capture and ended up in Argentina. And let's do that right now. So the first was Adolf Eichmann, the architect of the final solution, a very bad guy. He lived in Buenos Aires with his wife and four kids, and he worked at a Mercedes factory. This one you might know because they made a movie about it. Let me just write a comment to see if it's working here. Hello. Comment, please, I guess. Comment, please. EASE. All right. All right. So they made a Hollywood, I guess, movie about it, but it was about Mossad, the Israeli spy agency, and then they were the Nazi hunters to track down the Nazis that had escaped. Because, as I mentioned in the Admiral Byrd video, when Operation High Jump, and before that, let me see where I am here. So they escaped from Germany and they went to Colombia, but mostly they went to Brazil, Argentina, and Chile. And so, yeah, Adolf Eichmann was captured in 1960, brought back to Israel, and he was, I think, killed the next year or in 1962. And then there's Joseph Mengele, the angel of death. He conducted experiments on the prisoners at Auschwitz, and the Nazi hunters pursued him for decades. And apparently, he just died of a heart attack, so they didn't get him. And then there's another one that got away, Walter Roth. He was in charge of construction and implementation of the mobile gas chambers, and he was responsible for over 100,000 deaths. He actually was arrested at the end of the war and was held in an American POW camp where he escaped, where he went to Italy and he stayed in convents until he went to Syria, where he worked as a national, let me see, he worked as a military advisor in Syria in 1948. Then he went back to Israel and went to Ecuador before settling in Chile, where he worked as a manager of a canning facility for king crabs. He also spied for West Germany and died in Chile in 1984. And this part is a little bit shocking. So in 1984, long time after the end of World War II, at his funeral, German and Chilean mourners gave Nazi salutes and chanted Hail Hitler. So that brings me to Argentina. has a large population of Germans. Let me see. Over 3 million Argentines have German descent. And there are, well, 3 million people. You got to put them somewhere, right? So there's a town called I don't know. It's like Lacumbricita. I don't speak Spanish, Portuguese. So I would say La Cumbrecita is a typical German mountain town with wood framed chalets built from scratch on the barren hillside of Argentina's Sierra Grandes Mountains. There's another big German city called Pomerode. So I'd say Pomerode, and is known as the most German city in Brazil. And Chile, also in Chile, but I didn't write anything down for that, except for Walter Rolf ending up in Chile. But they either went to the cities, changed their names, and changed their looks, or they just didn't change anything and didn't. Walter Rolf didn't even change his name. He kept his same name. He's like not even hiding in plain sight. He's just living his life. So anyway, so I'm going to show you some pictures, screenshots I took from my phone from several newspapers researching and looking into Hitler not dying, basically because there are CIA documents and FBI documents of them looking into cases of Hitler sightings, etc., in South America, in Colombia, Argentina, and Chile. So let me just tell you that. Well, I guess I'll start with this one because it's right here. An FBI document sent from Buenos Aires on July 14th, 1945, said Hitler landed in Argentina on June 20th, that his face was disfigured, and that an Argentina army major escorted him to a secret hiding place in Chaco territory. And this has been corroborated by one of the there's 4 submarine mariners that they made landfall in Argentina 2.5 weeks after the fall of Berlin, and they were on U-530, and they landed 2.5 weeks after the fall of Berlin off of Santa Cruz, and they said that they disembarked one very important non-military German person and a high-ranking German person and Hitler. So that's one thing. And then now I'm going to show you the screenshots from the newspapers, and I get to the Australia thing. So here is from the Miami Herald. I'll just show you the picture first, and then I'll just read you what it says here. You can pause this later and see. It says, a newly declassified CIA memo saying that Adolf Hitler may have been seen alive in Colombia in 1954, long after his reported suicide in his Berlin bunker in 1945. Has triggered new speculation that the Nazi leader escaped Germany and lived in, and the screenshot is over. But anyway, here's another one from the Arab News, because, yeah, anyway. Hitler died at 95 in South America. Brasilia. Adolf Hitler died at the age of 95 in 1984 in a small town near Brazil's border after having escaped his Berlin hideout, says a new book. And that makes sense because the border of Brazil is right next to Chaco territory. I looked it up earlier. And here's one from the Rio Times. Did Hitler live in Argentina? The most incredible stories and conspiracy theories about his death and supposed flight to Patagonia. And that was from 2011. All right, here is, I don't know, you can see the title here. It says Vault FBI, the bottom part. So it says some of it might not be news, but anyway, some of it is. Adolf Hitler, 1889 to 1945, was leader of the National Socialist Nazi Party and Chancellor of Germany from 1933 to 1945. He led that country into World War II in 1939. The documents in this file range from 1933 to 1947, but primarily fall either in 1933 or between 1945 and 1947. Oh, so many dates. In the aftermath, no. In 1933, the FBI investigated an assassination threat made against Hitler. In the aftermath of Germany's surrender in 1945, Allied forces suspected that Hitler had committed suicide, but did not immediately find evidence of his death. At the time, it was feared that Hitler may have escaped in the closing days of the war, and searches were made to determine if he was still alive. FBI files indicate that the Bureau investigated some of the rumors of Hitler's survival. So just the fact that they investigated it means that they weren't sure. And then this is the document from the Boston Globe. And I basically already read that, and it says the same thing I just said. Oh, actually, that was the FBI one. That was the how he landed. Okay, did I say that? Yeah, he landed on June 20th, and his face was disfigured, and then the submarine guy confirmed that he saw Hitler. And that's what I've got for Hitler escaping from Germany and other high-end people. But now is a different cup of tea, shall I say. So there's a guy, well, I guess it's more than just a guy now, but the guy that started this conspiracy theory about Australia, his like Facebook, I mean his YouTube name is RAGREYNOLDS, so it's like Rag Reynolds, and he claims Australia isn't real. Well, he got a lot of attention from it. He has like 10,000 subscribers, and many of his videos have been viewed thousands of times, some as high as 81,000 times. So even though, anyway, so he also went to Australia to prove that Australia wasn't real, but he claimed that he was flown to like a nearby place that they call Australia, and they have actors. But if you look to the early days of his videos from 2+ years ago, he rants about why Australia is bad and why you should never visit, proving that he does know that it's real. But yeah, he's adamant, and he's like angry, and he's just very angry about Australia being there. And oh yeah, there's another one. It's pretty crazy. So I'm gonna show you that screenshot and read it to you as well. So let me just show you this guy. So this is the guy that says Australia isn't real, Rag Reynolds. And this says, if you could destroy one country in the world, which would it be? This is without a doubt the easiest question to answer, because the answer is Australia. The country is a waste of space. The country is the worst place on earth. And then later on, this is his main idea now. Australia does not exist. And okay, so then this is from Shelley Floryd. So Shelley Florid. I'll just show you here for a second here. Maybe I'll just show you like that. And I'll tell you what it says. It's pretty good. Australia is not real. It's a hoax made for us to believe that Britain moved over their criminals to some place. In reality, all these criminals were loaded off the ships into the waters, drowning before they could ever see land again. It's a cover up, one of the greatest mass murders in history, made by one of the most prominent empires. So that's that. And here's another one, which I'll read some of it, but I'll skip a few sentences here. Because if you think you've been there, you're wrong. Australia is fake, and the country is the biggest hoax ever. A viral Facebook rant alleges that Australia is an elaborately constructed lie. The post has been picked up and circulated by flat earth conspiracy theorists. In it, Shelley Florid declares that Australia is a cover up for mass murder. It is also suggested that all Australians are in fact actors and computer personas, sorry. And yeah, that's by the Daily Mail Australia. So anyway, he's got a lot of videos you can see like this. Australia isn't real, not real. And that is all. So I hope you enjoyed that. Oh, I also didn't mention so when I was doing the research for the Spear of Destiny, of course I have to do a lot of research and do a lot of digging, and I did. And but when I was doing the research, I kind of like that's when I realized that there was more than one Spear of Destiny, and I was started researching one of them, but then it got interweaved into another story where they ended up in Israel, and I was like, wait a minute, and then so there are different Spear of Destiny stories where everyone says this is the real Spear of Destiny, and someone else says no, this is the real Spear of Destiny, but at least this Spear of Destiny that I made the video about. So first it was Pope Leo III gave it to Charlemagne, and then later on, the guy in Burundi had it, and then Henry the Fowler exchanged a large parcel of land to get it, and then it went down to his son, who was called Otto III, and Otto III put one of the nails that had gone through Jesus's flesh and put it into the Spear of Destiny that I was talking about in my video. So at least there's some real Jesus power inside of it for sure. And then of course it went to the museum, and then Hitler saw it and Hitler took it. And I mentioned in the video that Charlemagne, he actually used the spear. He brought it to the battles, and he won 47 battles in 25 years. And he only died when he dropped the spear, showing disrespect. But Hitler didn't use the spear the same way Charlemagne did. If he had, the world would be very different. What he actually did is he just hung it up on the wall in his treasure room as a talisman of victory, and brought it out during propaganda parades. But Himmler, on the other hand, he was the one that believed in the power of the Spear of Destiny. And as I mentioned in the video, he had pseudo-scientific religious ceremonies with the SS elite. And since he was the one using the spear, he was the one that perished due to its misuse or abandonment. And he ended up having to take a cyanide pill when he got captured, and that's the story. So whereas Hitler got away, got to South America, and most likely went to Antarctica, to the secret underground base that they made in 1938, before the start of World War II, which I will for sure be making an episode about, but I'm not ready to tackle that big project yet. since the last live, I just casually mentioned that I wanted to maybe film some short episodes because when I go on my trip for 3 weeks in the summer, I'm just going to post 3 consecutive episodes and not have the live in between to just have a vacation. And so I have 2 of those ready, and I have to make a third. So one of them, well, no, yeah, yeah. And I mentioned that I might make a short video about dinosaurs living alongside humans. And yeah, I did it. It's done. And you might have seen it's premiering. So it's like it's going to be posted the following Sunday in a week. And so, yeah, I go to the Kunsthistorisches Museum in Vienna, and I see the Suicide of Saul painting, where I make a little introduction, and I was just planning on using it eventually, and I used it, and I'm happy about it. I also introduced a bunch of other dinosaurs and pictograms. It's going to be a good episode, I'm sure of it. And I also filmed a video about Greenland. There are some alien anomalies and radioactive stuff. Anyway, I'm not going to talk too much about it now, but that episode is all set to go. I'm probably going to save that one for when I go away in the summer, as well as time travel in Ukraine story, which it's pretty good. And the third one, I have no idea what that's going to be yet. But I'm still working on Moo, which is not the never-ending project. It's just a very long project. That episode is going to be an hour and a half long. So yay! And then the Tartaria episode turns out to be much longer than I anticipated. Like I've basically been collecting information, pictures, and stuff about Tartaria for the last year because I knew I would have to do this eventually, and it's a quite a vast topic. And my idea is just to introduce each thing enough that you understand that relates to Tartaria. And I'm halfway done filming it, and I'm really looking forward to that one. It's going to be amazing. And yeah, that's about it for now. I'm not sure what next episode I'm going to film, but I'm going to concentrate on finishing Tartaria and working on Moo some more, and something will come to me, I'm sure. If not, I have many albums full of pictures of ideas of what I should do next. So I guess I'll call that a night or a day, depending where you are, and say, well, my little line here. So, uncovering the truth, one conspiracy at a time. See you next week on the White Rabbit YouTube channel.